Only a year after the disaster that was Better Watch Out, a new sequel was added to the Silent Night Deadly Night franchise. This one diverges completely from the Killer Santa motif audiences expected, and instead brought some ritualistic witchcraft to the Yuletide season. This is my review of Silent Night Deadly Night 4, Initiation.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's one way to start your holiday movie, though I'm sure some of us feel like this during the Christmas season. You know, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that someone involved in the Reanimator movies had something to do with this. Yep, there it is. This is Kim, played by Neith Hunter, and her not-quite boyfriend, Hank, played by Tommy Hinkley. Well, if the villain of this movie turns out to be someone of abnormal stature, with balls of death, I think we'll have it covered. Kim, tired of being relegated to small tasks for the newspaper she works for, wants to pursue a story on the half-charred woman from earlier. But it's the early 90s, so that job is automatically given to Hank.
Damn it, Janice, why do we need men anyway?
I believe I have a solution. Naturally, Kim says fuck the patriarchy, and goes to do some investigation work where she ends up in a bookstore.
No, Ricky, now you go back up.
No. Don't you drag me back into Ricky territory. Besides, this one, played by Clint Howard, still has his skull intact, that we know of. The woman who runs the store, Fema, played by Maud Adams, not only gives Kim a book on spontaneous combustion, but one about a virgin goddess. That's not all she gives her. Fema shows Kim the access to the roof that woman must have used last night. Oh, this is far from a wise idea. I know this is LA, but what in the Cronenberg is going on here? Aside from random bugs showing up suddenly, Kim has to deal with a different kind of pest, Hank's family. Anne, played by Laurel Lockhart, Gus, played by the late Ben Slack, and Lonnie, played by Conan Yuzna. See, one problem is that Hank's family celebrates Christmas, and Kim is Jewish, plus Gus is a sexist and bigoted asshole. You add all of this into Kim already not being happy with Hank over the news article, and the evening ends about the way you would expect. Kim spends the rest of the night fighting a Chernobyl-sized roach and throwing up. The following day, she goes to the picnic that Fema invited her to. Here she meets Catherine, played by the late Jean Bates, and Jane, played by Margene Holden. They have a little wine, be more than a little suspicious. Kim gets tipsy, and Hank shows up to drag her to work. Instead of being fired, Eli, played by Reggie Bannister, gives her the job she wanted. So she and Hank return to the location where the woman died, but don't find much of anything. Hank leaves and Kim ends up at Fema's, where she essentially gets roofied. What proceeds is a ritual involving that larva-looking thing from before.
I want my daughter back.
This is why you never trust anyone named after a part of your body. Kim returns home and has something of a mental breakdown that Hank has to contend with, in more than one way.
Stop it! Stop taunting me!
Once Hank finally notices the third in this little manic party, he rightfully beans Ricky and beats him a bit. I definitely get that looked at, man. That's at least tetanus. Unfortunately for Hank, Ricky does kill him. Here's some more bad news. Janice, played by Elise Beasley, is part of all of this, so it looks like Kim has no choice but to follow Ricky and finish what was started. What in the Clockwork Orange is this now? Actually, it's a lot closer to Clockwork Orange than you might think. Apparently, that was the initiation, and Kim passed, so she takes the place of Fema's daughter, who, in case you hadn't caught on, was the woman who fell from the building in flames. Speaking of, apparently now Kim has to bring Lonnie to this coven, otherwise she will be next to burst into flames. Obviously, she refuses and calls the police, but there's not a speck of evidence that Hank was killed. Not even her co-workers and boss have any idea of what she's talking about. Can't be wasting any time though, because she's starting to smoke. So Kim agrees to child napping. So she and Ricky grab Lonnie, while Ricky also murders his parents. Now all she has to do is murder Lonnie, but she can't bring herself to do that, so she kills Fema instead, sending her flaming carcass down to the sidewalk. So Ricky's dead, Lonnie's not. The other women don't want to fuck with Kim, and according to Kim, it's all over. And with that, the credits roll. It was at least more engaging than Better Watch Out. There was more going on to keep me interested. Maybe not a lot, though. The effects looked fine, even though at times it was pretty ridiculous. Rubber worm fingers included. It's got plenty for those who enjoy body horror. We can thank Screaming Mad George for all of this, once again. It's one of the elements that I actually enjoyed most about the film. The acting feels better here by comparison of the previous two sequels. Granted, that's a low bar. The scenes that are meant to come across as dreamlike or nightmarish do so pretty well. I easily followed along with Kim, and I do think that Neith Hunter did a good job with her role. If you're looking for a comprehensive and easy to follow horror movie, you picked the wrong one. It can get pretty confusing pretty frequently, but if you suspend a good deal of disbelief, then you can follow along with it. We get no explanation in regards to the whole ritual thing. I know there are a lot of things, especially in horror, that can survive just fine without an explanation, but how are we supposed to understand the stakes and the why behind this coven if we're not given anything to work with? This really doesn't fit in the franchise. Is that really a bad thing? I'll let you decide. But for me, it sticks out, and I can't decide whether or not I'm happy about that. With all that being said, I'm giving Silent Night, Deadly Night 4 Initiation 3.5 out of 10 bloody thumbs up. This is a very bizarre movie that throws you right off track if you happen to be doing a Silent Night, Deadly Night marathon. It kind of feels like the Season of the Witch of the franchise. I appreciate the themes of the plot here with feminism and fighting against sexist ideals in the workplace and home, but it fell a bit short. All in all, I really don't know where to place this one, or if I'd even return to it in the future. It won't be a movie I go for when it comes to Christmas-themed horror. I would recommend Silent Night, Deadly Night 4 Initiation to Clint Howard appreciators, body horror fanatics, witch enthusiasts, and anyone who would like something to throw on as a double feature with Society. See you later. If you're looking for more Yuletide horror, check out my reviews of the rest of the Silent Night franchise. Thank you to my patrons Michael Musale, Bronson Wright Wolf, Diana Moe, Sean Sheridan, and Raiders AK for supporting the channel.